Okay, you ready? So can you say hi, everybody?
Hi, everyone.
This is gonna be our AMC elbow splint video. This is William, and William is about 3.5 years old. He was born with amyoplasia, and it was impacted in his upper extremities only. When he was born, both arms were stuck in extension. His right arm, we tried a lot, with both arms I should say, we tried lots of splints and stretching and really got nowhere with them. So we opted to do an elbow release and triceps lengthening on his right arm. William, can you touch your nose? Which was wonderfully successful, as you can see. However, his left arm is still pretty much stuck in extension as it was when he was born. On a good day, when he was first born, we got maybe 20 degrees or so of range in that elbow. William, can you bend your left elbow? Okay. So when we started, we were given a pair of elbow splints where they're kind of shaped like an L, and these guys cracked. They're made of a rigid plastic that gets heated and then melted into shape, and it was essentially sort of shaped like an L. So I'm going to try to hold this together, but that's what it looked like. So his arm would rest inside, and we would strap these Velcro straps over his arm, and there's little holes to allow for some air to get through, but these guys were pretty heavy and really didn't give us the airflow that he needed. And the problem we had was that this left arm really does not bend. So we found that as we were putting the splint on, it was almost like there was a big gap between where his arm was resting and where the splint was. Since again, they're shaped sort of like an L, and his arm would lay in here. And he just would pop them off. Come here, William. Come here, we're not doing the game yet. Come here, we're almost done. The next splint we tried was same concept, except these splints were the opposite. So rather than sitting on the underside of the elbow, these guys were molded on the top side. So we actually used to place these on the elbow this way. Here, let me see your right arm, or your right elbow. So in this case, we would strap this to the top side of his elbow and then wrap the Velcro around. Instead of cupping it from the underneath, we went on the top side to push. We thought we might have an easier time getting it on there. It was made of the same rigid plastic with those holes, and you can usually melt this 1 or 2 times before it sort of loses its ability to change or be adjusted. We had similar problems with these guys. We still felt like he was popping his arm out, and it was just really tough with that left arm. Then, after we did surgery on his right elbow, they actually gave us a splint. They called it from Philly Shriners a figure 8 splint, which we would put on his arm that had surgery done post-op to help keep that range that they had gained. This is probably the lightest splint he's ever had, and it's made out of a really pretty flexible material. It's not rigid at all. I could bend this and flex this any old way I wanted to, actually, if you can see how much I'm bending it. It's not rigid at all. The shape of it mostly comes from the Velcro straps, which sort of hold it up, and you essentially, it works the same way as that letter L splint, where we would lay his arm in, and then we would basically wrap the Velcro all around his upper arms and then crossing over on both sides on the top to force the elbow down and into that bend. This one, again, you could adjust it. It's very flexible, so as he got bigger, as the range was increased, I could actually ratchet it tighter and get that, I could squeeze that thing all the way down if I wanted to. This has a lot more holes, there's a lot more breathability to it. It feels almost like a fabric material, but it's not. The only problem with this guy is that it's kind of hard to clean, and if it gets wet, it's pretty much shot, but it's super, super light. Now that moves on to the current elbow splint that we're using. We still have very limited range in his left elbow. We talked with doctors about doing serial casting, and rather than going down that route, they tried something called, we'll put it on in a minute, called flexible rigidity casts. And this guy is a combo between an actual cast and a splint. So wait, he's gonna show you. So basically what they've done is it's made out of the same material that they make casts with, where they wrap it around, get it wet, and it sort of sets it into a hard, rigid material. But what they did was along the arm, they also inserted metal rods so that there is a degree of rigidity to it. And then they cut the cast up and split it open. And then we use Velcro straps to keep it like seamed or closed shut. So this whole thing splits wide open. I can take it on and off pretty easily. It's light, but not as light as this guy was, but it's very, very thick compared to the others.
This one is light because it has green.
It has green on it, that's right. And of course they wrap the edges with this soft fabric to make sure there's no rough edges. The principle behind this guy is not just only holding the arm in there, but also keeping his arm really warm and using his own body heat to help help that muscle stretch and loosen in the left arm. So we would strap the Velcro across like so to keep it closed. So this is the most recent one we've done.
I can close it.
You can close it, you can close it. And bam. With this, we've gotten range in his left elbow to about 30 degrees. And that one has been probably one of my more favorite of the casts, just because of that structural strength to it. Like this guy, as I showed you, was really light and really easy to use, but it also, if you didn't get the straps on just right, it's more sort of like a sling than it is a splint per se. This one has a lot more stiffness and structural integrity to it. But it had that ability to take it on and off and really encompasses his entire arm. We also get some good wrist and hand splinting in here too. So those are Williams elbow splints. Can you say bye, everybody?
Bye, everyone.
I'll see you at the conference.
See you at the conference.
All right. I hope this helps.